If you're a person that does anything, one thing you can be assured of is that as soon as you do anything, somebody will criticize you for it. It's I guess somewhere in the science of the world as we know it, there is a place for that in some kind of a formula. And it's especially so if you decide that you're going to do a blog, because people have it in their mind that if you are going to be on a public forum which is supposed to be about free speech, which it's not, of course. The only free speech is that people will get the chance to make a comment, and then I or Beth will decide whether we want to receive that comment, and if we don't, then we'll delete it. Well, one of the accusations which comes the most for Beth and I is that we are constantly criticised. We're criticised for two things. Criticised for not doing enough, for not succeeding enough, for not achieving enough, for being miserable losers. In fact, one of the most frequently quoted things that you will see about me personally is that I arrived in the Philippines with only $2,000. What a crime that must have seemed to some people. So when all of these things become overwhelming, which these criticisms, which they can border on being overwhelming if you allow it, the best thing to do is come out, as I've said before, and close your eyes. You close your eyes and you open them again as if for the first time. That's what you do. And what you see is what you have achieved in the present. So let's close your eyes. And now we're opening them again. And this is what I'm seeing. I'm out on the road and I'm looking at our house. This is what we've achieved. But all of those who keep saying, so where's American John? Well, American John is in America. And American John never owned any property because, as everybody, all the clever dicks will tell you, foreigners cannot own property in the Philippines. So the house is being built together with us as his representatives, and his plan was to come and retire here in the Philippines. That changed. Oh, what an unusual thing. Somebody had a plan and it changed. Well, it changed and we took over the house, which is a work in progress, and there it is. And there's our Raptor. See, now what we're looking at is what we have achieved. And the funny thing is that those who actually said, oh, well, he came here with only $2,000. What a failure. He had no arse in his trousers. That's what my mother used to say. She used to look at somebody who was a failure and say, look at him. Don't be worried about what he says. He's got no arse in his trousers. So, I had no arse in my trousers, and now I have a new pair of trousers. That's our Raptor. It wasn't a failure. It was a result of hard work. The same as the house and how we built it. And now we're looking at the other things that we've achieved. And you know what? I look at those things and I think about that young black boy in America. He was a movie star. I think his name was Steve Urkel, and he always used to make me smile. I didn't see that program very often, but he was a very, very intelligent boy, completely out of place in his environment in a happy family, and things used to go terribly wrong for him, and he used to look at it and say, oh, Did I do that? Sometimes I look at what we've achieved and I think, did I do that? Did we do that? And then I think about the people that criticize us for not handling our money very well. And when I think of that, I think about a friend of ours who came and stayed with us a long time ago when we were in the mountains. And when we were in the mountains, we had someone come and stay with us, with his wife. And not many people will remember his name, Sean. But if I say I'm talking about the man with no shirt, you probably will remember him, because he was a free spirit. And when he wasn't actually doing anything that was formal, he took his shirt off. And I never quite understood why that offended people so much. But he became known through our channel as the man with no shirt. Of course, he did own a shirt, but he chose not to wear it. So, those who criticize will automatically rise to the surface as soon as you try to do anything. Now, how do you know that you're achieving anything? Well, one of the biggest indications of you are achieving something is that someone is rushing to the forefront to criticize you and tell you you're doing it wrong. I wonder, the one who said, I'm not judging you, I'm just a person who is living within their means, and I'm wondering why an old man like you would even want to create a project like this at your time in life. Shouldn't you be enjoying life now? Now here's an unusual concept for that person. Is it possible for someone to enjoy doing a project that perhaps you would consider too much in your living within your means lifestyle? When I came to the Philippines, the last thing on my mind was to do something like this. The last thing on my mind was to marry someone who was so much younger than me. But things change. And I met Beth. Now, at the time, I thought that it was pretty good. But I actually didn't realize how good it was, because I am a terrible risk taker. I take risks, as you can see with what we've done behind us, as you can see with the truck that we have, as you can see by the motorcycle. I mean, what was I thinking of to buy a motorcycle at my age? I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? I'm crazy. Beth and I, when we walked away from the 30th house that we had built for somebody, when we walked away from the 50th, the 60th, 70th, the 90th house that we had built for someone for free, who probably was living without hope and could never have achieved getting a house of their own without us being the go-between between our subscribers, donors, who stepped forward and helped them. And when we walked away, sometimes having taken terrible risks, we used to look at each other and say, we're crazy. You know that? We're crazy. We went to Guindulman, which is about 2 hours away from us. It's 2 hours drive. And we started work with the intention of building one house. And by the time that we had finished the project, we had built something like 10 or 11 houses. How did we do that? Did we do that by knowing everything? Oh, no problem. 10 or 11 houses. Look in the kitty, darling. I'm sure the money is there. It wasn't there. We started off and we had, I think, something like 30,000 or 40,000 pesos credit at the local hardware store. By the time that we walked away, looking at each other and saying, you know, we're crazy, it had cost something like 1.5 million pesos. Now, are we the heroes? No, we're not. We're just the crazy ones who operate and get things done. Mostly, Beth, as I've said before, a man of my age, they just prop me up in a corner most of the time, and Beth gets things done. See? But then we're crazy. Now, we have friends who have done things so differently, but because they've achieved things, they don't speak with criticism on their lips. We have our friends Dean and Mickey, and when they came and stayed with us in the mountains, and they came and looked at our projects here, Dean said, well, you've done things opposite to the way that we're doing things. He said, we are trying to limit things, to downsize so that we enjoy a different kind of life, and you are expanding, and both are good. I never even thought of criticizing him. I never said, why are you downsizing? Why don't you upsize? And he never thought of doing the opposite with me. So we all have our own way of doing things. One of the things that is the hardest to take for our own is that the way that we do things is as valid as anybody else's. Now, there's a man on YouTube, his name is Kiyosaki, has made endless amounts of money. Every time that there is, according to him, I believe him, he makes bucket loads of money every time there's a recession or a depression or a downsize in the economy. Everybody else is losing their shirts and their underpants, even a man with no shirt. And yet Kiyosaki is making money. I can't do that his way, and no doubt he might criticize the way that we do things our way, but we are different. And the biggest gain that you can make, in my opinion, is to realize that what other people say about you is really none of your business. Now, think about that. It's not rocket science. It's not ultimately as profound as Albert Einstein is saying things. It will not be remembered as mine. It will be remembered as one of those things that people say. It's not your business what people are saying about you. And you have to stand up and say, well, if it's none of their business, stuff them. I'm going to do what I want to do. Now, here's the danger. You might end up slipping on your ass. So you get up. Now, I take the quality of message that people have about me and about life, and I take that for what it is. And I don't look at the messenger and say, yeah, well, what about him? I mean, he's had failure after failure. Most of the people that have achieved anything have lost everything at one point or another. Now, if you've lost everything, don't expect everybody to rush up and help you to get up and say, there, dear, you'll be fine. No, they won't. They'll probably kick you down while you're down. And you have to live with that. Not live with it, you have to live through it. I read a book by a man who said, succeeding or living through, listen to the words, through criticism and intimidation. At first it seems as though he is saying that you would use intimidation to win. No, he's not saying that at all. What he's saying is that even though people are trying to intimidate you, you can still win. Because what they say and what they criticize you for is not your business. Now the light is getting very, very dim now. This is about the time when darkness falls very quickly here in the Philippines, for us especially. And so I have to wind up. I get these moments where what people are saying can hit home, and there comes a lesson for that. What's the lesson when people are constantly criticizing you? So here's one way of looking at that. As people start to constantly criticize you, it means that you are stepping out of their comfort zone for you. It's against their comfort zone for you. In other words, you're doing stuff which is not okay for them. They didn't do that. They didn't think that that was possible to do, and you are doing it. Honey, can we have some light along the side as well there? That's better. See, let there be light. And it happened. So, let me include my lovely risk taker. Now honey, have you been out taking risks today?
Yeah, I'm driving my motorcycle.
That's a big risk.
You know, it's been a hot day. You know, every time, because right now I'm accompanying some people that's selling their land. You know, and it's very hot. So at the end of the day, I'm just being burned out. You know?
You've been burned out.
And I hope we could able to sell. You know, because you know, couple of hundred, we could able to get some hollow blocks and some paint. Yeah.
What about my new shoes?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, so
Sometimes
it's a
she's
little
so
bit tiring.
talkative.
It's a little bit tiring. So there's the guys there follow up me about the one that I told you about, the kind of marketing, or kind of, what's the name of that one I told you?
Multi-level
Multi-level.
marketing,
So I said that you
which
don't,
we're not
you
interested in
said
doing.
that you're not into it.
No.
So yeah.
Difficult. We're only learning now to say no to things. Beth usually would have kept on saying yes, and then I would have to be called in to say no. But we work together.
Yeah.
So, even though there is light, I'm going to sign off.
Yeah.
Want to say something?
Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and God bless. Bye-bye.